Hello, I'm Jarrell from Sungrand. I develop the Silver Falls games. Thanks for stopping by. Checking in to let you know how development is going on the Silver Falls games. It is December the... oh dear, I don't actually know what day it is. So, I've been working tirelessly to get these games out to you, these final Silver Falls games for the 3DS and Wii U, and I've been pushing past the 130-hour-a-week mark for my workload, and that has been quite a challenge. It's been interesting. Now, I mentioned the other day that Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers for the 3DS has finished development. I'm very excited about that, but I can't submit that just yet, and that is because Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers will be packaged with Ruby River, a second totally unique Silver Falls title. We're listening to some of the soundtrack from Ruby River at the moment. That part's pretty spooky, isn't it? So, we do have our testers that are running through Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers and making sure everything works properly and helping to make final balancing. So I have been working tirelessly on finishing up Ruby River, and this is the most brutal pace that I've worked on developing anything. So if you can imagine a graphic artist or an illustrator, when they need to draw, say, like a comic book, for example, a page in a comic book, there's often hours of sketching that goes into it. You need to sort of sketch out what you're going to draw, and you have a rough image of it, and you've got, draft lines everywhere, and then after you have your image sort of drafted out, then you apply the ink and the color. What I'm doing with Ruby River, I'm developing so at such a blistering pace that there's no time to do that rough draft step. I'm going straight for final ink and color, and when you're developing, there's an immense amount of planning that has to go into anything that you do, unless you're making a game that's quite simple, like a simple side scroller that doesn't really have any unique mechanics, or a Pac-Man type little maze game. So anything beyond that sort of simple, not complex game, anything with real complexity to it, with mechanics that offer an immense amount of depth to the game, that requires a huge amount of planning, immense documentation. It requires revising, testing, fine-tuning. I don't have time for that for Ruby River. We are out of time now, so I'm going straight for the final draft of every single thing. This is the final ink and color. As I'm creating Ruby River, I'm programming everything straight to the final draft. This is how it is. There isn't time to test and sort of play by ear and revise and to go back and keep improving things. I'm moving at such a blistering pace, and I'm just staying focused on, okay, everything just has to connect together now. I don't have time to build one thing at a time. I have to build absolutely everything the way that it should work. If you yourself develop games and you've created your own mechanics that are complex, you understand how mind-boggling that can be if you don't get the chance to sit down and build one part of your framework and your engine at a time. I don't have time to do that. So with Ruby River, it's been absolutely brutal, and again, I really need to get this submitted to Nintendo as soon as possible. There's a good chance that even though I get this submitted early next week, there's a chance that they may not be able to get this title approved in time and out onto the eShop for everyone, and that is no fault of Nintendo. It's entirely up to me, and I really needed to get these titles submitted to them earlier this year. But again, when you face health challenges and you have to slow down your workload, there's really nothing you can do about that. So I've been working blistering pace, 130 hours a week, and I can tell that I can't maintain that for much longer. I really feel the strain from that. I was doing that for the majority of the year, and I had to stop that. But until Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers is finished, and it comes packaged with Ruby River, I just have to keep up the workload. So that's where we are with development. Testers are really enjoying Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers. I think I've created something that people will have an immense amount of fun with in terms of customizing their characters, doing battles, and taking on unique missions with special requirements. I'll go through that more in the future as well. With Ruby River, you are looking at a first-person open-world survival game. You'll be collecting materials, building your own custom fort. There will be heaps of different template pieces you can use to build whatever you want. And I'm quite excited about that. There isn't any sort of terraforming or modifying the terrain. You're sort of locked into this valley and you're trapped in by a river. And during the daytime you'll want to be collecting your materials and make sure that you are well fortified. And during the night some monsters may come and try to challenge you. So this will work on all 3DS models. And with Ruby River I've worked extremely hard, especially with Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers. People have let me know from all over the world they really want something special for the 3DS, and people have been making requests for over the years. Ever since I launched 3 Down Stars, people have been asking for a game like Ruby River. So Ruby River is absolutely my answer to all of you who have been showing your support and you've been requesting games of particular style with certain features on the 3DS. Ruby River is just for you guys. This is what you've wanted. I really hope that I've created something worthwhile for you. It's open world, it's a survival game with crafting and building. It's the kind of game that you can just enjoy at your own pace, and you're not really forced to go through a story mode of any particular kind. There is a time of day system in both Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers and in Ruby River, and so the time of the game reflects the time in real life. You'll notice that the real mean baddies won't come out during the day, they'll come out during the night. I have been running into some technical limitations because again I'm using Unity for 3DS and it was never really designed to run on original hardware, but I wanted to work extra hard on this because people from all around the world have been asking me to bring a game like this to the original 3DS. So the 2 unique monster designs that I created for Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers and for Ruby River, I just found out today that there are technical issues with those monsters. One of them is just too detailed. One I barely got able to run on original hardware, and the other monster just won't work on the original 3DS. So it's, I don't know, I think it's 1 a.m. at the moment. I don't really keep track of time because I really just go until I kind of pass out. So I'm going to have to very quickly create a monster that will take into account the limitations of the original 3DS. Now the problem isn't just the hardware itself. The problem is that every single thing in the Ruby River game needs to be loaded in all at the exact same time. There are technical limitations, which means that if I don't load everything in all at the same time and then it's not all existing in memory, then there will be issues and there will be crashes and it won't work. So unfortunately, that means that quite a bit of content will have to be cut out, and hopefully within a couple hours tomorrow I can very quickly design a monster that will take into account the limitations and restrictions I have, and hopefully I can have that finished and rigged up within a couple hours. I'll have to finish the soundtrack for Ruby River tomorrow. I just finished the soundtrack for Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers. Our testers have told me they really enjoy the music, so I'm looking forward to everyone else being able to hear the music as well. Now I need to hop back into the studio and finish a couple more tracks for Ruby River. I don't have enough time, so the soundtrack for Ruby River will be a bit more restrained, and you'll hear more tracks that are a bit like the one that's playing right now. So there we are. I'm not sure if I've covered everything I wanted to cover today. I can barely keep track of what's going on. Just at the moment, I've been going full bore with development. Again, this is a workload that I would not recommend to anyone. It's not a healthy way to do work. But again, we've run out of time. I really need to get these games to Nintendo. And again, there's even a chance that they won't have time to process this game and get that onto the eShop. But I'm still going to try anyway. Yeah, I'll do my best, everyone. Thank you for showing your support for Silver Falls. I really would have liked to make more fun, more entertaining videos and chat and do live streams and hang out with you all. But unfortunately, I promised you all a bunch of games this year, and I've really had my hands full with getting them in. So thank you for your support, everyone. Hopefully a 3 Down Stars update will launch later this month, and if not, it'll be early in January. It's difficult for me to keep track of so many things right now because I have been working at such a blistering pace. The work hours are very challenging, and with my mind absolutely focused on getting these games made quickly. I'm not moving at a leisurely pace. This is a stressful amount of focus and very quickly designing a game in such a hyper-focused way that I'm just not able to multitask and take care of other things in terms of logistics. So, hey, it's almost done. I'm hoping to have Ruby River totally finished over the weekend, get the final testing in, and then early next week, absolutely 100%, I'm sending this into Nintendo. We've run out of time, and I just want to thank everyone for your support, and I hope that you're looking forward to these games. I've put in an immense amount of work into these titles, and I'm very much looking forward to sharing them with you, and we can all celebrate the 3DS and the Wii U eShops together. And these have been great consoles. I know all of you have enjoyed them just as much as I have. So take care of yourselves, everyone. I hope that soundtrack wasn't a bit too spooky. That only plays in the nighttime section of Ruby River. That doesn't play during the daytime. So take care, everyone, and I'll check in again soon when I have more information. Be well. Merry Christmas.